Hey guys, I'm here on a rare break from practicing AutoCAD for school to bring you my coverage of the Howling 2, which only unifying factors are werewolves and each respective story picking up where the original left off. Let's start with the movie and how really silly it is. It picks up at Karen's funeral, where her surviving siblings meet Stefan, who makes his entrance at the very beginning, looking like one of those tiresome televangelists. And that's Count Dooku, by the way. But he isn't. After Karen's fake funeral, later on it shows her alive in the casket after the memorial service. Stefan is there to recruit Karen's siblings to go to Transylvania to hunt werewolves, especially his own sister, Stirba, the immortal werewolf queen. A little shameless poaching from the Lost Boys right there. So off they go to a strange little city in Transylvania with cool music and the most ridiculous, half-assed werewolf nonsense. Terrible makeup effects, campy gore effects, the most funny-looking werewolf threesome, and the goofiest looking werewolf cult costumes, even goofier looking energy light effects, and a nonsense story so boring that I fell asleep through a good sized chunk of it. The long and short of it is, it doesn't match the book in the least. Now, let's visit the book, which also picks up on a loose end left by the previous book. Karen is alive, but not so well. She remarried and has a young stepson. She's in therapy after all that went down in Drago, but she's not done with Lycan entanglements. Roy and Marcia are still very much alive, and Marcia wants revenge on Karen because the silver bullet that grazed her head left some irreparable damage. So they start to stalk her. But since Karen is still hypervigilant, she picks up on this pretty quickly. So they close in and kill the live-in housekeeper and nanny. Karen recognizes werewolf damage right away and doesn't want her young stepson getting hurt, so she seeks out Chris Halloran from the last book. We're also given a little bit of a briefing of everything that transpired between the end of the first novel and the beginning of the second one. Karen and Chris bonded over this shared trauma they survived, but neither healed from it. So their relationship was toxic, but they parted on decent terms. So she seeks out Chris, who is on vacation in Mexico with a much younger girlfriend. She finds him there, and the girl is immediately triggered with jealousy. They are also both now being stalked and spied on by Roy and Marcia while in Mexico. And Karen and Chris consult with local gypsies, who advise them to procure a knife made of pure silver. And Chris goes to a rough neighborhood to find a knife maker and he pays top dollar to have an okay knife made out of an old silver tea tray. And while he's out, Marcia visits his girlfriend Audrey while she's alone and feeling ignored and a little indignant to kind of pry information from her. Then, on the night of the full moon, it's game on time. Roy and Marcia go back to the secluded home of one of the gypsies to kill the gypsy and ambush Karen and Chris. Roy and Chris fight outside, and Chris is successful with his tea tray knife. Inside, Marcia had incapacitated Karen and tied her to a chair. She was going to torture her to her demise. And then the moon comes out, and we see why Marcia was so vengeful. The wound to her head from the silver bullet ruined her ability to transform completely. So she contorts into this twisted and immobile, not quite human and not quite werewolf disaster train wreck. While Marcia is all messed up and can't do anything, Karen inches the chair she's in towards a lit candle and burns the ropes around her wrists and scorches her arms in the process and escapes, leaving Marcia to burn to her demise in the cabin. This leaves Karen and Chris free of Marcia and Roy, and the Howling 2 ends there. We'll find out later what's in store for them in the Howling 3 and how goofy the movie shakes out. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you like what I do on this channel, please help me keep growing with the comments, shares, likes, visits to my sponsors, and please consider subscribing. And I'll see you next book and movie.